Alright, my fellow gearheads, I'm going to give you the breakdown on what I've got finished so far. This is the reversible gearbox off of the little buggy motor that was in it originally. It was like a 150cc scooter motor, I think, I'm not sure. But it didn't really have a tremendous amount of power and the motor was wore out. Anyway, if you look at the back of this engine, straight through where the control arm went through, I put a jack shaft on it, and the jack shaft ties directly into this reversible gearbox. That goes over this chain right here that runs up to another jack shaft that's more forward mounted towards the pivot point of the control arm, so that as the control arm moves up and down, the chain's not coming off of the thing. Anyway, you understand how that works. And you've got two pillar bearings up there that are, it's a 1-inch keyed jack shaft, and I reduced the gear ratio quite a bit to try to help it on the trails, because you don't need the thing to do 180 miles an hour. The engine is a 750, I believe it's this GPX 750R, but I'm not for sure on exactly which model the motor is. Maybe you can give me some insight on how to figure out which one I have here. But anyway, this is some ideas you could probably use for your build, you know, the way I've put this together. I didn't want the engine bouncing up and down on top of a control arm, which is what I see a lot of people do, and that's just a cheap, cheesy way of not doing the job correctly. In any case, the motor still has quite a bit of work that needs to be done to it. The cooling system obviously is not hooked up. You see the radiator, it's just sitting up here, it's not finished yet. And the wiring, I've isolated and marked the wires coming out of the CDI box so which ones to energize. And I just mounted the coil pack up to the underside of where the radiator's mounted. But you know, that shot came off of a 250 SX3 wheeler. It took me a while to figure out what that shock had come from, but the original shocks will not hold the weight of the motor. It doesn't look like much, but that motor's pretty heavy. So I mean, you're probably talking about maybe 300 pounds, I guess. I didn't actually get to weigh it, so I don't know. Anyway, the steering column. Originally, I'm 6 foot tall, and the steering column was right on top of my knees. I actually couldn't sit in it correctly. So what I did is, see, I cut it right here, bent the dashboard, I guess, you know, I bent it up and then re-welded it, and then moved the steering column shaft from underneath to over top, and that gives you plenty of leg room now. So you know, so you can put your knees up in front of you. The reversible gearbox does work. That's the green lever in the floor there, and if you turn it, see the chains on the inside of the engine moving forward. Okay, now alright, you pull that into the back position. See how it kind of rotates now? Anyway, I doubt that thing's designed to handle the horsepower of this engine, but provided you don't hot dog it in reverse, it won't break the little planetary gears off inside of it. So just have to be careful when you're playing with it. Anyway, that's the place where the other shot goes. I still haven't figured out where to put the gas tank yet. And the rear brakes, there's nothing hooked up there yet. Still have to do all that. So I got a lot of work left to be done, and as soon as I get more done with it, I'll post another video. Alright guys, have fun.